Friday, July 31st, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host today, Jay Scoopers, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Mike Bennett, working his way behind the boards. We have a great show for you today. Can't wait to break it all down here in just a second. Before we do that, though, do us a huge favor. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. If you're new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what we got for today. Batting leadoff, got Andy Molitor coming on. Andy MSFW on Twitter. We're going to talk all things NFL, gear up for the NFL heading into the this weekend, and give you guys some nuggets that you can snack on and bet, some futures that you can bet before we head into NFL preseason, which is like crazy that it's just around the corner here. The summer is flying by so fast, July 31st already. After that, we got Drunken Goon coming on. We're going to talk some MLS stuff, but also I don't know if you guys seen what's happening with UEFA. Like there's some big posturing going on right now here. UEFA is saying that they're not going to be competing. Listen, World Cup is 4 years out. Not going to be competing in the next World Cup because of some deal that FIFA has with some. I don't know the exact details. You know who does though? Drunken Goon's going to come on. He's going to break that all down for us here. Plus, of course, giving out some MLS bets, and maybe we can find a super sub, two players who will sub in and out for each other that we can target for this Saturday slate of games. Oh, going to be a great show for today. Cannot wait to break stuff down. Before we get into things, though, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter. I was walking into work this morning. I was walking into the office, and I saw Liam Cohen. First of all, keep my boy's name out of your mouth, Liam Cohen. What are you doing talking badly about Caleb Williams? And some people might be like, I didn't really say anything that bad. What did he say? Well, he was giving an interview. He said, it's really easy to motivate the guys because, no one ever talks about us. When I open up the NFL.com homepage, all I see is 40 pictures of Caleb Williams. Whoa, relax. Don't talk bad about my boy. There's a reason why he's always on the homepage. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he's a future star of the league. I am circling this Week 13 game, Jacksonville and Chicago, and I am hammering the Bears all the way to 14.5. 20.5. I am no longer a Jaguars guy. I know, chat, you are all over the Jaguars after Liam Cohen disrespected my boy. I don't stand with that. So I'm going to be getting rid of all my Jacksonville Jaguar futures. Liam Cohen, you are on my shit list now. And keep my boy's name out of your mouth. Keep my boy's name out your goddamn mouth. Anyways, let's get into today's show. Before we bring on Andy here in just a second, just want to remind you guys about our good friends over at FanDuel. Looking to get more out of today's MLB action? FanDuel has you covered. Right now, you can head over to FanDuel and claim a profit boost to use on any bet type for today's game. That's any bet type. Moneyline, totals, home runs, player props, however you like to play. It's simple. Just tap claim now, grab your token, and apply it to your bet before you place it. Maybe you're backing your team to win. Maybe you like the over. Or maybe you're calling your shot and picking someone to go yard. Whatever you're feeling, use your boost and get more out of your bet. One guy I'm looking at today, Will Warren, under 4.5 strikeouts, -113 on FanDuel. That's what I'm using my profit boost token on. You should probably take a look at some home runs. It's just something quick that I pulled up using our good friends over at BetStamp Pro. If you want a home run, Teoscar Hernandez, +540 to hit a home run. There you go. Probably better use of your profit boost token. There, whatever you're feeling, use your boost to get more out of your bet. Head over to FanDuel.com/4. Progress gets started right now. FanDuel, your home for home runs. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is not withdrawable profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration or max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/China, Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. I see you guys in the chat. What up, Track Attack, Connor, TQ, Jeremy? If you think Liam is going to win a Super Bowl, I have a bridge to sell you to. Listen, where have you been in the chat, Jeremy? We've been all over this stuff. We're pairing all our futures with the Jaguars, apparently. Now I have to find a way to get off them. TQ in the chat saying Week 13, Bears should have division locked up by then. Or is that Bears or is that the Jags? I don't know. You let us know, TQ. Anyways, let's get into today's show. I'm happy to bring him on. He is the other half of the Deep Dive podcast. You've seen his co-host here on the show plenty of times. Will Capper. He's the director of content over at BetSperts. Hopefully I can get I know it's tough to get a live golf nugget, but maybe I'll ask him for a little live golf nugget here today. Andy Molitor, Andy MSFW on Twitter. Andy, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hey, what's cracking?
Nothing much. I'm I'm doing well. Doing well. Getting ready for the weekend. Long weekend here in Toronto in Canada. Apparently, we get you Americans always
Canadian Thanksgiving already, or what? You got all those?
No, I'll be giving a lot of thanks this weekend. No, it's my birthday on Monday, so they're giving me a national holiday day off. So yeah, no, I don't even know what family day or something. I don't even know. We like to make up holidays here in Canada.
That Thanksgiving one sneaks up on me. It's like random, like Canadians are just not doing anything in like October or something stupid like that. So whatever. Gambling Twitter is it's multinational, it's worldwide, it's global. We gotta celebrate all these silly holidays with you guys.
There we go. Funny story. I used to use, like when I was younger, I would always say, I'm sick during American Thanksgiving, or I have an American family that I have to go visit for American Thanksgiving, and I would just sit at home and watch football all day.
Yeah, that's kind of how that goes.
Anyways, let's get into today's show. One thing I want to start off with here. I know you spend the offseason prepping, but when prepping for this season, was there a team that you were expecting to be lower on or higher on, and then once your prep work started, you're like, oh shit, like my expectations were high for this team, and they're way below what I came up with at the end, or vice versa. Is there any team that stuck out to you in that process of like, ooh, didn't expect this team to be there?
You start with your process, and you got to refine it every year because you find little issues. And one of the issues is like a big part of the process is just nailing down where I had this team at the end of the year, and then starting to fix that based on roster stuff. And you forget so many things because I just put football out of my mind for a little while, take a little breather. And one number that shot way back up was the Indy number, where it was like, I'd kind of gone in just thinking, you have these preconceived notions and how you feel about the Colts at the end of the year. And obviously so much of that was just based on the roster that remained healthy and playing at the end of the year. And my Colts number is a lot. We haven't got to them on the deep dive previews yet, but my Colts number was jarringly high when I started to look at that, just based on some of the skill position players and who we have on that roster. So I guess I'm going to be high on them. That's a weird division, man. It's I think there's really good bull and bear cases for everybody in the division. I mean, maybe we're not going to go all in on Tennessee, but there's 3 teams in that division we can make some pretty good cases for, I think.
I think you're absolutely right there. I know you mentioned Tennessee, and I know George is watching, and I know he's all over Tennessee, so it's not even that crazy to like Tennessee in this division. It's just like if you expect a Cam Ward bump, maybe they could get there. Maybe they're not there just yet. I know you heard us talking about Jacksonville before in the background here. Our chat loves the Jaguars this year. We are like all over them. Me, not so much, but chat is a separate entity. They really like the Jaguars. So this division is a real pickle. And it just feels like everyone is sort of, as we fall in love with these teams in the AFC South that aren't the Texans, it feels like, is it just going to be another season where like the Texans just creep up on us and they're like, oh, there they are at the top of the division again. Didn't happen. No, you don't think so?
Well, no, it's one of those things where you can only go so far with a really, really, really good defense. I feel like in this league, you have to put something together offensively, and you saw it with Denver last year. It's like we didn't expect the offense to be that decent. I think we thought the defense would be where it was, and they got more than we expected out of a young quarterback. And obviously, you get a little more experience there at quarterback in Houston rather. But we need to see it from the offensive line and kind of putting it together with, the turnover they've had with the play calling over the last couple of years. So Houston's another interesting one in that sense, where if the offense is like borderline above average, yeah, you might just be like, hey, you're a 2 seed.
There we go. Yeah, it could be the team that sneaks up on us here. This Houston Texans team. You mentioned their offensive play calling, how it's kind of been shoddy. Seen a ton of turnover in CJ Stroud's time there. Not a ton of turnover, but a little bit of turnover there. Give me a coordinator hire that you think is going to or maybe not coordinator, but play calling hire that you think can unlock a new ceiling for a team. One team I'm thinking of, Jesse Minter and the Ravens, feels like that's something that could unlock a ceiling for them. Any play calling hire or coordinator hire that you looked at and you're like, wow, this team could really take a step forward with this hire.
I kind of don't hate the Davis Webb thing. I just talked about the Broncos, and I was higher on them at the end of the year. And, I think there is maybe another level to that offense that we can unlock, because it was just a team that we focused on. Hey, this defense is carrying it. They're just not letting anybody score. And we're getting just enough out of this quarterback that I don't know. We went back and forth with him during the year. It's like, does this kid suck? And, he's just doing just enough. They don't have to score a ton of points to win games. But I like that hire. I kind of, if you want to go the other way, I'm kind of out on Frank Reich. I just seen an article on him where it's like, hey, he's not a dinosaur. It's like, man, what did we need to, did his publicist make you write this article? Like, it's like a Duff protest too much. Kind of the same thing with Mike McDaniel. I don't know that guy is going to continue to be a fit, or if the league just kind of figured out like, hey, you're just, it's just constant movement, constant speed, constant. Like, if you don't have the perfect roster for Mike McDaniel in Los Angeles now, I'm not so sure that's actually going to work out.
Interesting. Mike McDaniel one's a little bit shocking there for me. Just quickly on Frank Reich, it's like the New York Jets just want us to hate them. Like, I feel like everything they do in terms of like their coaching hires, their decision making, like I like, if with like a different coaching group, I think I'd be higher on the Jets than what, and I feel like probably the market will as well. But like their personnel isn't the worst, right? Like they're not that. I think they could creep their way out of the basement if they had like some competent coaching around them. But their coaching is just all over the place. The Mike McDaniel stuff though is what I want to stick to. You're low on Mike McDaniel this year. I really think that he can like help out this Chargers offense.
We've been doing this for a while with the Chargers. Every time somebody comes to the Chargers, like, this is what unlocks it. And I don't know. I was a big McDaniel guy when he first took the job there in Miami, but it was just, hey, was it all based on just outlier receiver speed? And if you don't have that in the building, it looks like what we saw last year. Or was he really getting drugged down by the quarterback play? So I could go in and out on that. I do like. It's funny. This is maybe the dumbest thing I'll say. The Davis Webb thing, kind of back to him. It's the thing I like about him is that he's 31. I don't know if that's just like a signal, like, hey, this guy just keeps getting promoted and quickly. Sometimes it feels like, hey, we just gotta keep this guy in the building, or we got to give him a better job. We got to get him more involved. So I'm hearing good things out of Denver camp so far with him. And honestly, I don't think that defense takes a step back. And if he is good and it works out and we see like Bo Nix progressing because of him, this just might be the AFC team, man. Yeah,
that's it. And I feel like everyone's trying to find the AFC team here. Denver Broncos right now, 19-1. Pretty nice price in market there to win the Super Bowl. If you want to take a stab at that one on FanDuel. Speaking of some futures, talk me through a win total, a team. I feel like it's probably going to fall in line with who we've talked about right now, but is there a team you're looking at right now where you want to take not just their win total, you want alts on them, whether it be to it's over, it's under? Like, is there a team that you're looking at that you're like, ooh, I like this team and I like this team a lot versus market? Like, let me go aggressive. I think the tail ends could be are not being priced in correctly for this team.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same AFC teams. I did look at some Denver alt overs. I think their posted line is right around 9.5 most places, where you could go up a couple there. If you do think they, that schedule breaks out nice for them, you go 11, 12 wins. Same thing for the chart. If you want to go Chargers, I mean, it's kind of correlated. They play each other, man. So Chargers to the under if you're still out on Mr. What If, or what are we calling him, Mr.
What? It's what if, no? Is it not just
just straight up what if, I guess. And I mean, back to the Colts too. Like, Colts on the ladder, they're kind of in that 8.5, 9.5. I think if you like somebody in a competitive division like the AFC, what are we in the AFC South? My brain's just mush on a Friday. So
for the Colts, yes.
But if you like a team in the AFC South or the NFC North, where they're all so packed close together. I mean, that's the perfect spot to take some of these alt overs. Like, you want to get more exposure on a Bears team, on a Vikings team, even the Packers team. Like, if you think this is, underrated by the market because of how you feel about the, whether it's the coaching hires or just the roster they're putting out there this year, take them to get the 1 seed, take them to have the most wins in the conference, take them for some of those outlier stuff, because I think it sucks betting. I mean, some of these people are doing this shit in May. Hey, I'm taking over 8.5 because I'm going to get like 15 cents a CLV because this win total's off. Like, are you really like tying up money for 11 months 10 months, whatever it is, on like a -115. Like if you're gonna, I don't know, if you're gonna tie money up that long,
Mm-hmm.
I do like to take some of these longer shots on that and actually have some, some justification for some of the payouts, and let that money work for you a little bit, I guess. If you want to be betting on this team to go over the win total, there's probably some week by week lines for you to be betting over the course of the season that pay out a little quicker.
Yeah,
So I like where your head's up with some of the alts, but
yeah.
definitely, go to the extremes on the distribution. And if you love a team, bet them to win the 1 seed.
There we go. I love that, and I think it's TA who always talks about every year. It's like teams who exceed their win expectation from market always exceeded by like 2. They're not always, but like they're just exceed more to the extremes than what's being priced in. So
the average, I think it was last year. We haven't done it for 2025, but it was like a 5-year rolling. The average team was over 2 games off.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of teams that were right on, but it was like 10, 11 teams that were right on or within a game. And you always have like 5 or 6 teams that are off by 5, 7. You get that one surprise team. You get the team that quarterback gets hurt in week 1 and they ain't winning 10.5 games all of a sudden. So I think the average is roughly 2 games. So definitely look into those alts if you love or hate. Hate a team's fun.
Yeah, hating
nothing like betting on those alt unders. It's funny, the lowest I ever went was I went on an under 2.5 1 year for the Bengals. Didn't believe in them. That was the year they went to the Super Bowl. So that's like my claim to fame. Not only did under 2.5 wins did not cash, obviously. They actually won 3 playoff games.
You meant to click losses, under 2.5 losses, not wins.
Under 2.5 losses. Yeah, no,
there we go. I don't know. Oh man, that's a good one. I mean, if you're looking to go like that low on a team, maybe it's is it the Dolphins this year? Is it the Jets? Maybe it's the Dolphins. I don't know. Someone in the chat mentioned under 1.5 wins. Dolphins under a half win. Dolphins to not get a win. Maybe just
Drew and I did the Dolphins and Jets podcasts, like the preview podcasts, back to back on the same day. I had to go lay down after that. I had to go to church. Felt just depressed. But yeah, the Dolphins are obviously in a really messy rebuild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you guys done a couple of previews now too. The Bears, Vikings. How many have you gone through so far?
I think 12. I think we went through 3 divisions. We did NFC North this week. We did the AFC East. And then I'm trying to think where we started. Would have been the NFC East. Yeah, we did Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles, Commandos at that point too. So getting there, 3/8 the way through the league. We got all of August yet. Kind of a late start to the season this year with the way the whole calendar lands.
It really is. It really is. But at least to get to start one day earlier with the Wednesday game. Talk me through some teams that you haven't done yet that you're looking forward to cover in terms of like the deep dive previews you guys are putting together.
We are doing the AFC North next week, and I think that's going to be fun because there's so much speculation around, are we in for the Pete Carroll ride when we get to Baltimore, where it's like, this is a good roster. It's always been a good roster. They never took that big step back. It had a long-time head coach, and it wasn't hey, you just suck now. We won 3 games. We have to fire you. It was we need a different voice in the room kind of firing. And then obviously they made a home run hire out in Seattle and got a Super Bowl out of it. And we'll see what Baltimore looks like. Cause I think that roster is still pretty complete. You obviously have a wide variety of opinions out there on Lamar, but obviously we've seen him get it done, and he has the capability to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. So that one's fun. I kind of am a little higher if you wanted to go back to hey, here's some teams that I thought I might be low on and I wasn't. Steelers.
Really?
I mean, it wasn't terrible at times last year. If you go look at some of the efficiency numbers for like a 48-year-old quarterback, it wasn't awful. And yeah, that one, the coaching maybe has me a little trepidatious, but at the same time, it's not a bad roster. And obviously Cincinnati I've got a lot of buddies that are super Cincy Maxis at this point. And that's another fun one. It's like, well, if it's just all gas, no brakes, you got to have the coin flips go your way. Those teams that have, one side of the ball that's super elite, where you have a good quarterback, crazy receivers, and then good enough everywhere else where your offense is going to be great, but the defense stinks. We see that every year where you have a few teams like that, a few teams where you have an elite defense, but you don't have the quarterback in place yet. You got to win all your coin flips because there's so many of those times where that weaker unit is just getting exposed that day. And if you don't win those five, 6 games in the middle of the pack that kind of define your season, you're just not going to end up in the playoffs. So Cincinnati probably has a wide dispersion of results for me, and that's fun. And then I guess we'll talk about Cleveland, whatever.
you want to talk about Cleveland? Do they have a wide dispersion? Is it like is 0, 1, 2, 3 wins wide? Like, is that? Yeah,
that's. I mean, even the quotes. The quote was like, "We'll have a quarterback figured out by week 1."
Yeah, there we go.
I know it was I think it was tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it's like,
yeah.
And it's been a long time for them, since they've had something solidified at quarterback. And man, it's been a rough 5 years because you sold your soul for what you thought was going to finally be the guy, and then
was awful.
Just turned to shit in your hands. So, I mean, yeah, and then you got rid of your best player. You're probably, and you would assume fan favorite. I've never lived in Cleveland, but out of everybody on that roster, I would have assumed like he was probably the most popular jersey, and he had to be the guy that even fans that knew, like, hey, we're gonna stink this year. Like, hey, but we got him. We got Miles. We got Myles Garrett. We can go watch him wreak some havoc. So it's kind of a hard sell this year on that team to pack him into the stadium even.
Oh yeah, thoughts and prayers with Cleve TA on Twitter. Just dropped his new NFL preview. Go check that out. But tough for Cleve there as a fan of the Browns. Let's move over and talk some awards. Is there an award bet that you've placed this early, or it's not even that early in the offseason anymore, or close to the preseason here? Any awards that you're looking at that you like? Any certain players sticking out to you, or any of these markets really fascinating for you for the awards markets?
I did look at a little Benito, Defensive Player of the Year, when I was digging into that. I guess I was pro Broncos last year. I bet him to win the division because I'm just going to keep doing this with the damn Broncos. But he's a little longer because you have so many established names ahead of him. But at the same time, if you go actually look at the stats, like this guy is top 2 at his position, and he just doesn't get the love that some of these bigger names had. We did look a little bit at Micah Parsons just based on when he's coming back and how impactful he'll be. And I think, a guy that plays 12 games and has 15 sacks could still win it.
Wow. Yeah.
And, one of these bigger names is going to have a couple decent weeks over the first 5-6 weeks. They're going to become the favorite. You're going to have somebody 2-1. So, Mike, we're going to watch the price drift a little on Parsons because it is, it's similar to everything we do in sports and everything we do at the end of the season in sports. It's the whole, what have you done for me lately? It's the whole, hey, this team lost a game in college football. Yeah, but it was in September. Do we even care anymore? They're in the playoffs. The hell with it. It was a game that we barely remember a long time ago. And so much of that is, when you look at some of these awards that are like comeback player of the year, especially, it is that end of the season push. And Parsons, if he does stay healthy, the games he's going to miss are obviously early in the season. So if he does drift out, I might take a piece of him because I think he's just going to get so much run up there, and he's such a big part of that. And it's kind of like banking on a counting stat. You just need the sacks. Yeah. The sacks need to be there because we're not giving somebody because they're really good at getting pressures and not getting the sacks. I don't know that there's a second guy to mop up there right now other than some of the younger guys. Yeah, with Gary out of that team now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point there with Micah Parsons. Right now, 80-1. Entry point probably is better mid-season than it is taking it now, right? Like it's, like you said, probably going to drift as the season starts. Obviously, we know that he's not going to start the season, but feels like that stuff always happens where it just naturally drifts because the guys around the board will just keep getting bet and he won't be. So maybe keep an eye on Micah Parsons as we move our way into the season here. I'm gonna have to leave a little note that in week 13 for myself. Any opinion on the comeback player of the year, the GRP award here? Any way of cornering this market? Any way of attacking?
I've fully purged that from my system, I believe. I think I think my opinion and my advice is that's a bad market to bet into.
Okay.
I think
Really,
some of I unless you can find something crazy like, hey, I found this long shot on Flacco the other year. Like when people were diving into that crazy early and got a long shot, and especially this year, there's just too many names at the top, and I think one of them probably wins by default if the Chiefs win the division. I'm not even sure he has to be that good. If it's just like, oh, this team is back on top and it's because of one man, because there's some fun names behind him, but are you really going to be able to extract any value out of that when they might just give it by default to one of the faces of the league? Because Daniel Jones is probably a good candidate, but Daniel
Malik
Jones
Neighbors
can win the division, and there's so many good candidates, and they might just all be second fiddle because the Chiefs win the division at a certain point.
That or Aaron Donald comes back, who's listed at 9-1 right now, which is
utterly
insane. I doubt he'll win. It's just kind of crazy to see a guy who's not on a roster.
That's one too, and I with the new rules, the DeMar Hamlin stuff, and no, it was who won it that just sucked.
Was it Sam Darn? Wasn't it Darnold?
No, was it Gino?
Or was it Gino? Was it Gino?
Yeah, it was the Gino. When they introduced the rules, and they said, "Hey, it has to be an injury or something." It can't. They didn't say it out loud, but it can't just be like this guy sucked and now he's good again. What did he come back from? He wasn't actually injured. So that one's interesting because that doesn't really fall under the he sucked, because that guy never sucked.
Yeah,
but I almost like that as a premise better than, hey, you accidentally tore your knee up and now you're back. It's like, hey, no, you retired and somebody pulled you out of retirement. That's actually a better way to give the award. So I think I'm abstaining from that award because I hate it. I hate how the market reacts to it every week. I would look at those odds last year and I just get mad. Like, what are we doing with this?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe kick that to the curb and look for protector of the year. Maybe that might be something. But
man. Did you get any bets in on that?
Not last year.
Find markets. I couldn't find markets for that most of the year.
FanDuel had it quite often last year, week to week. I assume they're probably going to have. I have no idea, but like I'm guessing they're probably going to post them again closer to the start of the season here. I want to take all the Joe Alts I can. I want to take Joe Alt MVP right now. I'm all over this Chargers team, but I know that you're not feeling the same way. Can a tackle win MVP?
I wouldn't put any money on that. That is a GRP bet. I mean, didn't he do that with the Super Bowl? Like, this offensive tackle's 1,000-1. Like,
because he's not winning.
Need him to pick up 2 offensive fumbles and score with them,
and those be the only touchdowns in the game.
And I think the odds of that happening are longer than 1,000-1 if you want to actually figure that out. So, no, I don't think it's kind of the same thing with Rookie of the Year. And I think we're going to continue to have this, and maybe someday I'll be proven wrong, but there's always these good tight ends now coming out of college and that are really, really involved in some of these offenses right off the bat. We've had a couple over the past few years, and Bowers probably should have been more in the conversation than he was, but it feels like it's tough for these voters to give it to a tight end. Maybe someday, now that the league shifted more towards, these guys aren't, they're not Jim Kleinsasser hybrid. Sometimes they're a fullback. I'm blocking and I catch 10 passes a year. They're just receivers at this point. So it's weird how, the sentiment shifts, but it's kind of the same thing. Like I look at some of these tight ends every year and I'm like, man, I don't know if I can place the bet because I don't know if the voters will do it.
Yeah. Maybe like Kenyon Sadiq was a guy who I wanted to bet on pre-draft. Like, okay, this is a guy I'm circling for offensive rookie, and then just lands in the worst spot possible on the New York Jets with a team, the coaching staff that I hate, and definitely will not know how to use him and leverage him effectively. Jeff in the chat saying Feinberg, the favorite in comeback, has no chance to win comeback. That's how it always works. He's Joe Alt, 125-1 comeback player of the year in his pending. So could be fun there if you like that. One more thing here before you head out. Offensive player of the year. I got another GRP bet for you here. Is it possible for quarterbacks to win that award anymore? And tell me why I shouldn't be clicking Caleb Williams at the insane price of 125-1.
It does feel like it's hard for them to win because we had the situation, like who won it last year? JSN?
JSN, yeah.
So 5-10 years ago, it did feel like they sometimes gave this to, hey, we have two quarterbacks. They were both really good. They can't both be MVP because MVP is a quarterback award for the most part.
Yes.
And then a lot of voters would put that guy as, hey, he's my offensive player of the year. And sometimes you'd have that where it was almost like a miscongeniality thing. And it just doesn't happen anymore, where offensive player of the year really is a skill position award now. And when you're attacking awards markets, it's not the same as betting into games or sides or even some of these other futures on teams in general, because it comes down to how do the voters attack this award. And you can go back and look at especially now with the ranked choicing, I think that makes it even easier to see how they view these awards. And man, it's just going to come down to the big 3 or 4 receivers, and then Gibbs, Bijan. I'm just naming the top of the board, man. I mean, it's the 2 running backs, and then Chase, Puka, JSN, Jefferson, maybe McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor sprinkled in there. But yeah, it feels tough. You got to have a big number because there's this. You're cheering for something, but you can't have him do too good.
Yeah, because then he's creeps into MVP.
Because he finally breaks the seal, and the Bears have a 4,000-yard passer, and that's a fun narrative, and that drives up his award stock. But at the same time, if he does too good, he's in the MVP conversation now, and people are putting him. I'm going to put him second in MVP conversation. I gave him some votes. I'm still voting for Bijan Robinson because he had 1,800 all-purpose yards.
Yeah,
so it's tough. It's a tough one just because of how the voters treat it.
Absolutely. But when you go back and look at previous years, oftentimes the quarterback is like the second, like on a lot of ballots, they're always second, but it's like they can never be first. You need like a black swan event where there's like 2 really good, like Jahmyr Gibbs, Robinson battling it out for each other, and then somehow the quarterback wins by on like just second place votes alone.
And I know you're not going to get the 130 to 1 on stuff like this, but that is where, if you do love a guy like that, and you want to make some bigger money than just, hey, I'm betting on him to have over 3850, and there are some alts on passing yard stuff, and I'm sure you could find maybe a 5,000-yard prop on a guy like that that might have some decent odds. Definitely not 130 to 1, but 130 to 1 pays $0. So it's not a great bet.
Letting me down easy. I appreciate it, Andy. I appreciate it. Before you head out, talk me through your favorite futures bets that's on the board right now that you've clicked. Just something that you like, just you love. You love it so much. It could just be you have a lot of like a big edge on it, you feel, or just I don't know, just like you're really confident. Just your favorite future, anything on the board right now.
I do have some numbers. I think 11-ish. Broncos to win AFC. I'm slowly turning into a Broncos maxi, and for the most part, I think you get 10 to 1 across the market on a thing like that. So I'm a little down on a few of the AFC teams that we saw play pretty well last year. I think New England would struggle to have that kind of luck. They obviously won't have that kind of schedule, and they won't have that kind of scheduling luck in the playoffs. So I'm a Broncos guy this year.
Yeah, plus EV move of the week was Mike Vrabel bringing a puppy into his press conference to just to get rid of any negative or any thoughts about anything else. A puppy,
no distractions there. Right
there you
now,
go.
So.
A puppy clears the name. Andy, appreciate you joining the show. You can check out Andy on Twitter at AndyMSFW. Also check out the Deep Dive podcast where you said 3/8 of the way through the NFL teams, like 40% of the way through.
Forcing out 4 episodes before we go to Bet Bash next week.
I love it. When you're at Bet Bash, tell the Hammer people we said hello. Enjoy Bet Bash. We'll chat soon.
See you, bud.
Great stuff there, as always, from Andy. If you're at Bet Bash, go up to Andy and say hello. Go up to Andy and say hello. Jeff in the chat saying Nadu needs to get a puppy. I got something that I want to talk about quickly with Jeff. I do an auction draft every year with some of my closest friends for fantasy. And I asked Jeff last night if he would be willing to be our auctioneer. Chat, what do you think is enough to convince Jeff to be our auctioneer? I offered him, we as a league decided, we said, let's give Jeff 2 custom jerseys, 2 Chargers jerseys, the home and away colors, number 10 on the back, but it's not going to say Herbert. It's going to say beer. So 2 beer 10 jerseys, home and away. Do you think that's enough to convince Jeff to come do our auction draft for us for our fantasy auction draft. You guys let me know. Or should I sweeten the pot for him? Jeff, you let me know if that's enough. It's my final offer. Anyways, let's get into the rest of the show here. Got Goon coming on in just a second, but quickly want to remind you guys about our friends over at Hit the Books. If you can't get enough college football, Brad Powers, Kanish, you're in luck. They're going to go live again today, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Going to be talking through the Big Ten. That's weird. Whoever made that image, why is Dante Moore on the cover saying unstoppable? Why isn't Maava there saying unstoppable? That's what it should be. USC, baby. Get in there, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Ask all the questions you want and have a great time. TQ in the chat saying, get Jeff weed. All right, let's bring on our next guest here. He is a football knower and a soccer knower. We're going to talk a little bit about UEFA. We're in a TFC kit for the game tonight. Adrian, aka Drunken Goon. Adrian, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to talk through the game tonight. You want to just rip off anything you got for the game? I know you didn't send me that you have anything for the game. Do you have any opinions though on this game? If not, any bets?
No, I just wore that because it's MLS.
I love it. No, it's good MLS stuff here. And your jersey closet is ripe with a ton of jerseys. We'll talk MLS in just a second. Before we do that, what's going on with this UEFA stuff? I see like UEFA trying to boycott the World Cup. Some big posturing from them, although it is still like what 3 years and 10 months away. So it's they've got a lot of time to work this out. Talk me through exactly what's happening with FIFA, this deal that UEFA is so mad about, and why UEFA is like threatening to pull out of the World Cup.
So I guess FIFA is on top of their all the money that they made during the World Cup. They're trying to sell a piece of it to private investors, and nobody else agrees with Infantino. There's two train of thoughts here. First one is Infantino-Trump relationship and what's going on there. The other one is Infantino smart enough to just rip somebody off? Because he's a lawyer. He's done everything in favor of FIFA. He's when everybody was saying that they're not going to sell all the tickets to the World Cup, he's the one that put in the plan and came out smelling like roses. So maybe he's just trying to pull a fast one on the investors. That's something that hasn't been publicized too much out there. The scenario of selling a percentage of their revenues, I guess, creates a lot of opportunities for countries like in Africa and in Asia with constant revenue. But the Europeans and I guess CONCACAF have decided that they're against that proposal, and I guess it's Infantino's job on the line right now. If the plan goes through, he stays, and if this gets defeated, he probably bows out.
Messi's probably in shambles right now if Infantino bows out. Got out at the right time with the last World Cup there. So do you stand? A lot of people in the chat saying we stand with UEFA in this one. You're on UEFA's side of things. You disagree with what FIFA's trying to do here, trying to sell.
I am
private
old
equity?
school, so I'll stick with preserving the game, keeping the water breaks out of it, and halftime shows, and all the gimmicks that we had during the World Cup. Not to say that those are not revenue added value, but it's changing the game for the worse.
All right, let's talk about the games you wanted to talk about here today. We got a full slate going on Saturday. First game you wanted to talk about here is New York and Orlando. One thing I want to keep at front of mind here, we want to be looking for super subs. We want guys who can sub in for one another. So if any guys can stick out at the front of your mind when talking through any of these games with the super sub promotion, which, is it still there? It's not there right now. I wonder if they took it away. I gotta look. They might have it closer to the game time. Gotta check. They had it one day, but anyways, keep that at the back of your mind for this. New York, Orlando. Right now, the match is Red Bulls are favored plus 110 on the three-way money line. Tie plus 320. Orlando plus 180. Talk me through this one.
So I got in with an early play on Orlando. I got plus a half, minus 124. It's moved a little bit, so I don't know if the value's still there. But New York has some absences. Their playmaker Mehmeti is out, suspended. Ruvalcaba is also out. And there's Choupo-Moting, the backup striker, is a little banged up, so that should affect your sub in, sub out. Hull versus Choupo-Moting is probably not going to be a sub that you get there. Orlando has been playing really well. They're the hot team. They got back-to-back shutouts. Crepeau has been playing well since the World Cup, and the arrival of Griezmann has really helped him. He's a guy that leads by example. He's doing all the work, box to box, and he's getting everybody else involved. So Orlando's a team that's on the rise, and I think they have enough to get a result at New York.
All right. Is that Orlando on the three-way money line? Is that the plus a half?
It was plus a half. So
plus a half.
Dual.
Double chance.
Double chance. That's the one.
Yes.
Different terms.
Yeah. Orlando and draw -155 right now on FanDuel for that plus a half or the double chance. Depends where you're looking.
Yeah. So that's moved significantly, about 30 cents from where I took it. So
keep it.
Maybe go draw no bet.
Okay. All right. I like it. Draw no bet there. Tie no bet is 124 for Orlando. Let's flip over and talk Cincinnati versus San Jose. San Jose, third in the West. Strong team, but they've been really cold as of late here. Talk me through if you like this San Jose team here versus Cincinnati. Talk me through this game.
So I like the over there. I took over 3.5 -120. Cincinnati at the back is in shambles. They played well enough in the derby against Columbus at the weekend, but they got the lead and should have been up a couple more goals. But they blew it with a couple of brain farts late in the first half, and eventually lost the game. Then they lost the fight in the tunnel. Suspensions from there. They lost their center back. They lost a winger. So that makes them quite vulnerable at the back. They have only one way to win. They got to outscore the opponent, and San Jose is about the same way. San Jose traded their goalie just during the World Cup break to Dallas and picked up a new guy, a Scottish keeper. I wasn't too impressed with him in the first couple of showings. Attacking options, they were without Judd, their top striker, last game when they drew with LA, and they dearly missed him. He's back now, and they also picked up an Australian striker. So they have a few options. I think San Jose is the same type of team that will trade chances and go for it. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair.
All right, high-scoring affair here. We're taking the over 3.5, -120. You said -140 right now on FanDuel, but shop around and look around for that for some better prices if they're out there. Next game we want to
should do this on Tuesdays.
Yeah, maybe we should. We'll talk to Alex about doing that. Chicago Fire versus Charlotte FC is the next one here. Kind of shocked. Just obviously, listen, I'm not a MLS ball knower, but I'm looking at the standings right now, and I see Chicago just 2 spots ahead of Charlotte here, and it's like, why? How is Chicago -180 versus a team like this? And I know obviously using record to justify something is not the best way to go about things, but it's just kind of crazy to see them -180 is the addition of Lewandowski coming in and getting settled here. What do you like in this match? How's Lewandowski looked for Chicago? Talk me through this game.
So he started the first game and he played about 60 minutes, didn't get too much action. Then he came off the bench when they're down 3-1 in New York and didn't do much in the second half. He's looked okay. He's physically fine, but it's going to take some time to get the chemistry going with his teammates. The problem is that they relied so much on keepers before, and his departure to Mexico is really kind of messing with Chicago's chemistry and ability to kind of string chances together. They're in a bit of a funk. They were really poor at the back against New York as well. Their offside trap didn't work well. Barroso was taken off at halftime. They gave up 3 goals and looked really poor. And if it wasn't for Brady's goalkeeping, they would have been even worse. So Chicago's not. They look to be in a bit of a funk right now, trying to figure out their new identity. At the same time, Charlotte has 10 points from the last 4 games. They're coming together, even though they rolled over their roster a little bit, and Sam Maximin is not ready to play yet. They look like the stronger team, and there's value on them on the way. I actually ended up playing the over 3.25 in this one because same thing. Chicago pushes the tempo. Charlotte counters well. The only concern is the goaltending. Both Brady and Kalina have been really, really good. So over, but hopefully get some down games for either one of those two.
All right, that's the goal. Fading the goaltenders here. Goalkeepers. Sorry, I'm out of the soccer mindset. Back into football. Back into hockey. Back into all that stuff. Over 3.25 there. If you can get it on FanDuel right now, the 3.5 is +108, or the 2.5 -245. Last game you want to talk about here is Minnesota versus San Diego FC. Minnesota +100. The draw in this one is +300, and San Diego +230 on the 3-way money line. Talk me through this last match here.
I took a play on San Diego plus a half here, minus 113. Coming out of the break, there are two teams going in opposite directions. Minnesota has no identity. They have no offense, and they're struggling in midfield. San Diego, I watched them kind of take Dallas to the woodshed, but only score one. They created chances for 5 games, but their finishing is just poor. I think they're good enough to get a result here. Lots of attacking options, lots of creativity, but they have the mental breakdowns where they just give the ball away. Even against Dallas, they were in full control last added time minutes, and they turn it over for breakaway. They bail themselves out. But with San Diego, it's one of those hair-raising experiences where you just kind of pull your hair if you have any for the whole game, and in the end you get the result.
All right. In the end, hopefully you get that result. The double chance there on San Diego. San Diego and draw minus 135. Just a quick recap: Orlando and draw minus 155. San Diego and draw minus 135. The over 3.5 in the Chicago Fire Charlotte game. Over 3.5 in Cincinnati and San Jose. 3.25 for the Fire and Charlotte if you're looking for it. But us, or we can look outside of the MLS if you want to talk anything outside the MLS as well.
One thing to keep in mind with the MLS is Leagues Cup starts in midweek, so some teams will be playing three League Cup games in the next 10 days. So roster turnover, and injuries will impact quite a bit more than they would in normal circumstances. So the schedule gets condensed quite a bit, and you have to be aware of that. And depth will come into play.
All right, depth will come into play here. Appreciate you joining the show, Goon. Hope you enjoy this Canadian long weekend. Hope you're having some fun in the sun and having a couple bevies. We'll chat soon. Great stuff.
All right, have a good one. Thanks.
Great stuff there from Goon. As well, always go follow him on Twitter at Drunken Goon. Yeah, go follow him on Twitter. That's it. That wraps up today's show. Do me a huge favor. Smash the like button, goes a long way here on the channel. If you're new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to So Money yesterday. The Oracle. They're calling them the CFL Oracle. BC laid a beatdown on Winnipeg. Can't believe I didn't lead with that. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash the like button, subscribe as well. And yeah, that's it. Shout out to Goon. Shout out to Mike for keeping everything nice and smooth behind the board. Shout out to Andy for coming on. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Amber, Jack, Derek, TQ, all you guys and more. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. Reminder, no show on Monday. And before we head out, forgot to tell you about our good friends over at BetStamp. If you're serious about props, the hardest part isn't finding an edge, it's scaling it. BetStamp Pro is built to grow your volume and your ROI. Every player prop and alternate line across 200 plus books on one screen in real time. Priced against BetStamp's true line, a proprietary model weighted per market and prop type. Bias corrected, producing the most efficient, sharpest props pricing reference in the industry. Catch off-market prices the second they appear across more markets and more outlines than anywhere else, so you can get more money down at a bigger edge more often. Scan the QR code or use the link in the description to apply. That's it. That wraps up today's show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. No show Monday. We'll see you guys here on Tuesday. This has been the Friday, July 31st edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here next week.